Some
Oh, mira! I meant space! Wait! I always wanted to go to outer space! Not space! Danielle's wearing her space earrings, her space shirt.
If they do turn cameras on, this is who you're currently looking at. These 3 individuals flew up on a Soyuz. These 4 individuals just went up about 13, 14 days ago.
Wow.
So less than 2 weeks ago.
So we won't see them.
Probably not, because they are awake, but during the time off from doing science, they're given privacy, so we turn the internal cameras off. That way they can just do what they need to do, and they don't have to worry about people looking at them.
Okay, but what if we tell them we're here? Just kidding.
Now, I will tell you.
What if they're excited about it?
So I'll tell you, Angela, that...
Orbital sunrise is happening.
Okay, so let's go that way. So I'll tell you, if they hear that you're in the room and you've got a fan on board, they can call down and ask to speak to you.
Okay.
So we'll kind of hang tight to
This is gonna be real
that.
disappointing if I get any call down. They're like, yeah. What, can you send us a link? We're not familiar.
Show us the pic.
Oh, send them my Bucky's TikTok.
So yeah, Jenny wanted to call you in so you can see a sunrise from outer space.
No way.
So
Where do we look?
If you look at the top left,
Oh yeah.
you'll see. There it is.
Whoa.
Are you getting it, Alex?
Yeah.
Wow.
We are now in our 25th year of continuous human presence in space. So for the last 25 years, we've had somebody in space.
Wow.
And during that time, we have not lost a soul. All the people before you are the people who are actually flying the space station. The astronauts on board do not control the station. It is this room.
These are our captains.
These are the
here?
people who are keeping it up there.
No way.
And in a 24-hour period, so the ISS is flying at 17,500 miles an hour. It's going very, very fast.
How the heck? Okay, it goes that fast. Yeah, what do they feel?
So they don't really feel anything. They are moving at the same speed.
I guess it's kind of like when you're in a plane, you don't feel
Yeah, exactly.
like you're moving.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, precisely.
Listen, this is about... You're about to give the dumbest chore ever. 'Cause I'm going to ask the most basic public school question.
I doubt that very seriously.
They're not exposed to like all these germs that we have
On
here
station?
on Earth. Right.
No, they are not. So we have mitigated sicknesses being introduced to that atmosphere, and the issue with it is once you put it in the air in station, it stays in there because we recycle our air. So it is a closed system.
So what do
So
you do?
we are very careful about what we bring, not just sickness, but also harsh cleaning chemicals. We don't use bleaches or anything like that on station. You're gonna feel sick your first 2 weeks or so when you go up, especially if it's your first time, because when you're
like
adjusting to microgravity, you feel nauseated. You feel like you have to throw up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then how do you contain those?
I throw up if I just go up
Bag.
to the mountains too high.
If you're going to throw up, you have to grab a bag. If you do not get to a bag in time, it is on you to capture all of the floating particles and dispose of them appropriately. Your crew is not going to help you.
That's like when you're in the dollar machine and they're all flying at you and you're like trying to grab them. Oh no.
It is a significantly grosser dollar machine.
Yeah. Why are they there right now? Like, what information are they giving us?
What we do now is 24/7 science. Whatever you can do in microgravity that might be a benefit by taking gravity out of the equation is what we do.
What's something that we've learned from space that has helped us in current medicine?
Oh my gosh, we do thousands of experiments. One of the things that we look at in space with eyes is that the longer you're up there, the more your eyes start to kind of come apart and you lose a little vision. So all those layers start to kind of separate, right? Because they're not being held together by gravity.
Wow.
And we actually now have advances where we can bring vision back to people here on Earth who have lost their eyesight due to macular deterioration.
Nice to meet you.
Big fans from up there in the
Oh, yeah.
We're learning all about you. We're
Oh,
like,
nice.
she's the man. What's your favorite thing about what you do?
Flying the spaceship.
You ever flicker the lights just to scare them for a second?
Sometimes we get an alarm, and we're, you know, but occasionally there's an antic or two. Yeah. Even way back of them like putting on the gorilla suit, and zipping themselves up in the CTV and then like popping out.
Filming TikToks up there
Yeah.
in space.
They did like a whole series during the Olympics of like Space Olympics. And, yeah.
Oh, I did. I
Yeah.
gotta look that up. Are you looking up trends to send them? Okay, now do this one.
Right. Like this plot tells me when they're going to the bathroom.
No way.
Yeah, right here. I mean, really, it just.
Number 1 and
There
number
are
2?
no secrets in space.
No, there's not a different signature for number 1 and number 2, but sometimes you can see it's a little bit longer than others.
And what's
Just
this?
like all the computers. This is PBS.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when it's really quiet, I like to listen to cooking shows.
I do the same thing, but with murdery crime shows. That's
A little bit different vibe.
Yeah.
We have a tool where we can literally pan and tilt any of the external cameras.
Can you show me my mom's house?
No, probably not because we're over the ocean, unfortunately.
Oh, okay,
So there's no
okay,
houses.
okay.
Thank you.
What is this a replica of?
So this is actually not a replica.
Oh.
This is a trainer for the space shuttle. Way more complex than what you might expect to find on board ISS or even in modern day capsules. If you were to squeeze these two together, that's the size of your cockpit in your space shuttle.
Really?
Yep.
That
So
tight?
that is your cargo bay, and then that's your forward-facing cockpit.
What's that? Copy that. We're turning the lights on. Opening the bay.
Living her best life right now.
Hello? Houston. Houston, we have a problem. I will solve it.
We've got robotics in the back. We've got docking simulators here.
We're in the middle of what we call it's a huge design cycle where we are making sure everything for Artemis 2 has happened as expected, and then we are going to start doing ground processing to get ready for launch next year. So this is set up exactly how it's set up when they're actually getting loaded into the vehicle on the launch pad, except it's about 300 feet up. This clear plexiglass piece, there will be no floor there in real life.
You gotta do the step. Do it right. You're an astronaut. Don't step on it.
So this vehicle, there will be 4 people living in here. Artemis 2 is about a 2-week mission.
Wait a minute, and this is where we live.
This is it. This is where you live. This is where you eat. This is where you bathe. This is where
that's where you bathe?
This is where you just do like shower, like wipes, and there's a bathroom right there. Yeah. This whole panel is covered in switches. For nominal mission, only 2 of the switches on this panel are actually used. The rest of them are for if there is some kind of contingency situation happening.
How do they sleep, like when it's
Yeah, good
sleep
question.
time?
So they have like just little sleep sacks, and they clip it in, and it just holds you in place, and you kind of just free flow, and you are like anchored down on like a couple points.
Can you smell?
Oh yes, they smell terrible when they come back. Now, can
But they smell each other in
no,
this?
not really, because if you know, like if you're sitting in a car with everybody and you're all kind of getting a little bit rank at the same time, like you don't notice it. And then also, a lot of times what will happen is the fluids kind of tend to drift up to your face because their sinuses haven't really been draining, right? Because there's nothing pulling it down.
Gravity.
So
no
a lot
post-nasal drip in space.
no,
They're coming back
yeah.
to Earth and landing in the ocean. Do they go all over the place? Like, is
No,
it hurt?
they're strapped down. So if you like, your back would be where your butt is, your head would be right here, your feet would be right here, and all 4 of them would be like that, and you're completely strapped in. They lay like that during the launch countdown for 4 or 5 hours. Obviously, it's not
What do they
comfortable.
Have to pee in that for?
They have diapers.
Okay.
Yes.
That's good. Okay.
Nice.
That.
Good job.
I'm scared that I'm gonna touch something I'm not supposed to.
Does she want a picture coming out?
How do they go to the bathroom in space?
Each crew member has their own attachment.
Oh, thank God.
Wait, what do you mean?
A different thing, and you
Oh,
put
it
it right
attaches
No,
to that?
there's no attachment there. Attachment for the front.
Oh.
For the back, you generally just practice lining up to the hole, and there's a little vacuum.
Whoa.
And then you sanitize the hole?
Yes.
Okay.
I work here as the chief engineer, and I will show you some more mock-ups, okay?
Yes.
Thank you.
The next space station that NASA wants to build is going to be orbiting around the moon instead of around the Earth. And so we have our first mock-up here.
Hey, what are your thoughts on all the like space movies and stuff and like?
I generally like them.
You
but
do?
some of them aren't realistic. They're just
Right.
fun.
You're walking with a certain astronaut confidence now, it feels like.
These were too heavy for the astronauts on Earth to open and close.
Yeah.
So we ended up retiring them and using them kind of like as autograph
That's
pads
so cool.
for people that visit here. We wonder if you would be
Oh
willing
no way!
to sign your name
Oh,
to
that's so cool.
to this hatch, and
Thank you.
The black cylinder hanging from the A-frame is our partial gravity simulator, and it dates back to the Apollo program. It's one of the ways they train the astronauts to walk on the moon's surface. You might be assigned to fly up on a Soyuz, so you and 2 of your cosmonaut buddies would have to climb in there in the fetal position and launch.
Fetal position.
Well, you have to sit there while the rocket gets ready to take off.
Yeah.
Then one at a time, they'll unbuckle their seat belts. They'll open this hatch and float up into this top module and take off their spacesuit. And then the next person gets a turn to get out of the seat and float up and stretch their legs until they dock to the space station. And then they have these nice big modules that we're about to see to live in for 6 months, 4 to 6 months typically.
I bet they all become really good friends.
Until they dock. Okay, so this module is kind of at the back of the space station, and it's one of the oldest modules. The service module had a life support system, a place to make your dinner, a place to go to the bathroom, a place to sleep, a place to work. It was ready to use as a space station the minute this came up and docked. The next module forward is the lab. That's primarily used for science experiments, okay? This is kind of like a living area for eating. They only get deliveries of fresh food every couple of months, 2 or 3 months. So
They have to assign
week or
it. I'd be so pissed if somebody is like,
You ate
why are
all
there
the
no more
bananas.
grapes? Yeah. There's one guy just downed all the grapes in the first 2 days.
He's like, oh, I thought you were religious.
Yeah.
Now, when you get to fly, you get to try to pick your own menus and foods you like to fly. So there are a few of the food containers that are marked by name.
I was like, I noticed this one where it's like fruits, breakfast, Kayla.
Uh-huh.
She's got her own food right there.
The module is round, it's 14-foot diameter, but they have rack positions on the walls and the ceilings and the floor so that you can have 24 racks in here doing different things.
Racks on racks on racks.
You can't live without a bathroom.
Right.
So this is the main bathroom for all the American crew. Okay, in addition, over here, these are all the life support racks. They generate the oxygen, recycle the water, scrub away all of the other contaminants that might be in the air for you to breathe. They also recycle urine. Wow. Okay, and so they use distillation to make the pure water and then to break it up into oxygen and hydrogen, and they throw away the hydrogen and they dump the oxygen into the cabin. So bathrooms, life support, then there's exercise. 2 of the main exercises are in here too. So there's this big ARED system, and then there's a treadmill mounted to the wall, and then you use bungees to hold your feet against the treadmill, and then you kind of run with your head pointing out this way because there's no gravity.
So
That's
you're running
cool.
like this.
Yeah.
And someone's like, excuse me, I gotta pee. Like,
Right. It's kind of cozy. And so if 2 people are working out and the 3rd person needs to go to the restroom or work on the life support system because it's important to do the maintenance, it gets really busy in here.
Floating photo.
Yeah, so it's not like the moon.
Yeah,
You
okay,
will
hold
just
on.
float down the middle if you
hold
jump.
on, here I
right?
come.
In fact, they make a game of it. Sometimes on their off time, the astronauts will see if they can jump and fly all the way
that's fun.
from the back to the front without hitting anything. The Note 2 is where most of the astronauts sleep. They have a crew quarters. It's the only private spot they have. And there's one of these crew quarters in the floor and the ceiling and the wall, so 4 astronauts would spend their nights in here. They sleep quite well just hanging on the wall. But there's a little sleeping bag to hold them in place.
yeah.
Just sleeping, feeling like you're standing, or do you not feel like you're standing? Like,
No, you don't feel like you're standing because your ear thinks you're falling. You have to get used to the constant falling feeling when you're an astronaut.
wow. Wow, that's
So you
cool.
don't feel like there's a down. There's a lot of pieces.
All these things were blown up there and then built together.
Yeah. Mostly robotically, but then they do EVAs to kind of come back and hook all the pieces together.
So they just hook their feet onto stuff so they don't fly away.
Yep. They use the handrails on the floor and the walls and the ceiling to tuck in their toes, and not just for their hands.
That's why it is so exhausting. They're using the muscle to like hold.
They're using
themselves in
muscles that
place.
you would never use on Earth to constantly be holding yourself still.
This is fantastic. We just had a great time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Glad to hear
Thank
it.
you for
Thank you.
everything. This
Yeah.
is so cool.
Thank you for coming. Yeah, we're going to take you back to 110.
I can't even.
I don't know what I was expecting today, but it was not this. I don't know what I thought it was gonna happen.
Don't overwork you.
Thank you.